Welcome, boys. In this video, I'm going to show you what to do to confirm your brakes are bad. What do you do if you suspect your brakes are bad? Or how can you even tell? Well, there's a couple of telltale signs, and we're going to start with this German car, the BMW. Now, this car has a brake lining indicator. It's actually a sensor that's built into the wheel, and as the brake pad material erodes, this sensor has a circuit that runs through the pad. When enough of the pad material is worn away and then it starts to wear into that sensor's wire, it opens the circuit. It breaks the connection once the circuit has rubbed away. It's going to trigger a light on the dash. It'll say check brake lining, or it'll show a picture of a brake letting you know that, hey, your brakes are about shot and they need replaced. For example, in this car, as you can see, there's an indicator, brake pad wear, and it has pictures of some brake shoes. Visit workshop. So that would be a way, if your car is telling you your brake pads are bad, you might want to listen to it, or at the very least get out and then inspect it just to confirm. What if you don't have something like that on your car? Well, there's a couple of audible cues. One is if the brakes are making a squealing noise while you're driving around and not actually applying the brakes. So as you're driving down the street, you'll hear a cheek, 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 or a squealing noise. And then when you press the brakes, that noise goes away. That's an indicator that the brake rotor is rubbing up against the wear indicator on the pad. Now, some people think that when you apply the brakes and hear a squealing, that means they're bad. But what that actually is you might have a little bit of rust on the rotor, or you might have some sort of foreign objects embedded in the pad. Like if you have semi-metallic brake pads, if you get a good piece of metal in the metallic part of the pad, it can make that squealing noise when you apply the brakes. So normally that's just brake dust or some sort of contaminant. What you want to listen for is a squealing noise when you're not applying the brakes. Or if when you are applying the brakes, you'll hear like a loud grinding, dragging noise. So picture taking a heavy piece of metal, a brake rotor or something, and dragging it across the asphalt or concrete. It would make a loud kind of noise. That means your pads are shot. But without having to go through all that, can you tell another way? So we've gone over audible, we've gone over visual if your car tells you, but what about another way of visually inspecting it? Well, you can do that by looking at your pads if they come with wear indicators, and I'll show you an example. This is the brake pad and rotor on my dad's Dodge Challenger. Now, if you remember, I've done the brakes on this. I don't remember if that video has come out yet, though, at the time I'm recording this, or at the time you're seeing it. I'm going to assume it has. But if not, I changed the brakes on this Dodge Challenger. They were shot on the back. They had like 1 millimeter of thickness. And as you can see in here, there is the pad. It's big and thick, as you can see, but there is that piece of steel that's coming off of there right here. This is the wear indicator. This is the pad material, this black stuff. When enough of that has worn away, it's going to start rubbing up against this tab here. That's going to make contact with the rotor, make that squealing noise that I was talking about. So that's another way to check, is if you can actually see your pads, just take a look at them. But if you can't for some reason, like let's say you have a kind of wheel similar to the BMWs, or even the Crown Vics that you can't see into, you know, like this, you can't really see in here, so you don't know if the brakes are bad or not. Well, you can always inspect them when you pull the wheel off. But a good thing to note is that the piston is on the inside. So that's the part that's actually pressing the pads into the rotor. So your inside pad will always be worn slightly more than the outside pad. So you want to check the inside pad if possible. But whereas you just saw on the Challenger, if it has a shitload of pad on the outside, you're probably also good on the inside. But if it's getting kind of worn or questionable on the outside, take a look on the inside and make sure that you still have some material on that part of the pad that's contacting the caliper's piston. Okay, and so an example of that is, here's the outside pad, which actually looks to be in decent shape. There's at least half the pad left. And as you can see on the inside, it's the other side of the pad. So a little less material, but still satisfactory for a while, I would say. But that's how you would check it if you're ever in doubt. You can always pull the wheel off if you need to. Look at the outside if you can't see that well, but pay most attention to what the pad looks like on the inside. Because the piston's on this side and it's pressing into the brakes. Just pushing it into the rotor, so you're going to get slightly more wear on that side. There you have it, boys. Hope that helps. Since most of my videos are about how to fix the problem, figured I'd show you how to diagnose the problem first to decide if you need to replace anything. So thanks for watching, boys. Peace.